Okay, we are going to go through some of the keys to success in the life insurance industry. So if you are a life insurance agent, maybe you own an agency or you're trying to really grow a business or your personal practice, personal sales, these tips hopefully are very helpful to you. They should be. They were extremely helpful to me. So let's get into them. We've got a handful of them here. Number one is obvious: product knowledge. It is critical to understand your product thoroughly, and when we communicate it to individuals, it has to be effective as well. So beginning with the knowledge standpoint, taking in product knowledge. If you're going to sell whole life insurance designed for maximum cash value, it's important to know things like different companies, what are their guarantees, what are their dividend rates, what are their loan rates, how does the flexibility provision work. For example, with a whole life insurance policy, this is a demonstration of product knowledge, with a whole life insurance policy, a lot of times people feel that you have a fixed premium that must be paid for your entire life, and if you miss a premium payment, your policy can lapse. The thing is, with a whole life insurance policy, the core benefits to the cash value are as follows. It is a safe, liquid, tax-free area to position money, and I have a unique loan feature. What I mean when I say unique loan feature is that once a dollar passes through the cash value of a life insurance policy, regardless if I just let that dollar sit and grow, or if I decide to borrow against it, if I take a loan out, I continue to receive the guaranteed rate and any dividends as if I never touched the money in the first place, constantly compounding. Very attractive benefit of cash value life insurance. Now, on the point of funding, while I have the name whole life insurance, the life insurance benefit is intact for my whole life. If the policy does not lapse, a death benefit's paid out to my beneficiaries. However, I by no means am required to pay into it for my whole life. A policy can be designed very easily where I pay into it perhaps for 3 or 4 years, and then nothing thereafter, but I've got the option to keep funding. A policy can also be designed to be extremely flexible. You know, I often ask people we work with the question, how much do you want the ability to pay into a policy on any given year? Not commit to, but have the ability to. Safe, liquid, tax-free area to position money, say $100,000 per year. If things go really well, I want to be able to put $100,000 per year into this product. Well, Mr. Prospect, what you can do is design a policy where we can commit to, call it $10,000 per year, and have the ability to add more at discretion up to $100K per year. And the funds we add, you will see in cash value immediately, money you have access to, begins compounding, really enhances the benefits of the cash value feature of a life insurance policy. Now the thing is, back to product knowledge here, some companies are extremely accommodating to flexible products, others are not. We've got to understand the product, we have to know it in and out, that's step one. And then step two is effectively communicating it to individuals. That is so important. And I'll tell you, that takes practice. That's the key item at the end of the day. One thing to take in the knowledge, repetition, right? Have you ever read a book? Do you remember everything you read in that book the first time? Now, if you've read it multiple times, you retain more. So same thing when we research products, when we put them in action, when we're modeling illustrations, whatever it might be, same thing with communicating it. We've got to practice, repetition is important here. So product knowledge, that's number one, obviously. Know your product in and out, know the industry in and out. This way we are an expert in our field and we want to become the go-to source in that respect. Number two, take action, specifically massive and quick action. This is huge. You know, in the insurance industry, things tend to move very slow. For whatever reason, people that had sold products sold life insurance in the 1970s, 1980s, 1990s, those methods, those word tracks, those sales strategies are still used today to a heavy degree in the life insurance industry. And there's nothing wrong with those strategies or tactics at all. They're still used today because they are effective today. However, when it comes to other ideas or moving quickly, it's not that common to demonstrate. It's very common in the insurance industry, if you're going to sell a whole life insurance product, let's say it's a high ticket item, that you may see a 5-meeting process, which includes a meet and greet meeting, getting to know the consumer or the prospect, explaining your process, how everything works, then a fact-finding meeting where you gather documentation, a strategy meeting where you're mapping out strategies and such, and you're discussing going back and forth, an implementation meeting where you're saying, okay, here is the exact strategy we're going to implement, here is your existing path, here's what you're going to do now, looks good, and then a closing meeting, number 5. And sometimes it goes longer than that, sometimes shorter. The thing is, today we are in what? The information age, and people want to move fast. It's also the convenience age, I'll call it. People want things quick and they want it convenient. Take massive action, take quick action. So, taking quick action. What can I get you information on? If someone has a sense, they know what they want, get them the information. I do not need to force my process on them and go through a 5-meeting process that might take several weeks or even several months. People get frustrated a lot of times. If someone wants that, that is perfectly fine to take them through. But if they want to get to the point, maybe they've researched it, they've got an understanding, here's what I'm interested in, like here's what I'm looking for. We as an agent do not need to force our process on them thinking that it's the only way that things are going to work. What if it was you? Do you want to sit through those meetings? If it benefits you, sure, but what if you don't have time? Think, put yourself in their position. Get them the information, meaning move quick. It's okay to get them information in advance. It's not going to blow the sale. We do it all the time. People appreciate it. They want to see different samples. Helps move things faster, and you can educate them throughout the process as well. This way, nothing is missed. Now, massive action, this is huge. So, for example, when following up with someone, hey, what can I get you information on? Okay, we had a meeting. We sent you samples. Do not wait for them just to call you back. If a couple days go by, follow up with them. This can be a phone call and a voicemail. When we're following up with phone calls, always leave a voicemail. If a professional calls you, a physician, a doctor's office, or a lawyer, are they going to leave a voicemail or just give you a mystery call? They're going to leave a voicemail. Now, we can be more creative as well, whether we want to do more than just calls. We've got email, we've got text, we've got video messaging. You can send stuff via regular mail. Who does that anymore? A lot of creative steps we can take, but make sure you're taking massive action, multiple steps to try and get back in touch with the individual or keep in touch with them during the sales process and afterwards too. Customer service is huge. Next tip, innovate, make it convenient. This one's huge. So it kind of ties into what we were talking about there with innovating, that is, innovation is rather than just meet with people face-to-face or in today's environment over Zoom calls, meaning have to have a conversation and meet with them every time we need to discuss questions, go over anything. Again, that's old school, meaning anytime someone has a question, I've got to schedule a call, schedule a meeting to go through everything. Nothing wrong with that. Some people prefer that. If they prefer that, give them that. However, some people have questions and they don't want to talk to you. Like, hey, I got too much time. Can you just answer my questions via email? And then what happens is they email you 10 questions. Could be smirking if you know what I mean. And they are lengthy questions that require layered answers. You ever feel like that? Like, oh man, if I answer this in an email, I am going to type out an encyclopedia. Like, it's not easy to do. Does the person not understand that? They don't understand it. Remember, they're not in the industry. And don't get frustrated at them if they don't understand it because, again, they're not in the industry. We're in the industry. We're the professional. It is our job to get them information, get them answers, and make it convenient when we do it. Don't resist them. Don't fight them. Don't try and force them to do things your way. If a call or a meeting is truly the best way to communicate something to them, offer it. However, What else can we do? This is around the topic of innovation. Well, one, you can type it all out in an email. You can also demonstrate a product form. Perhaps you're providing visuals, an illustration. Maybe you write on the illustration to help answer their question. Maybe it's a recording, whatever it might be. There's a lot of strategies we can take, and innovating entails coming up with new ideas. So as you brainstorm and you test things out with those you work with, you're going to find some things people love. Okay, great, you came up with a new idea, keep doing that. Some things people don't like, or it creates more work for you. Okay, maybe that's not the best move to take. Point is, continue to try new things. Do not just get stuck in the old way of doing things, because it takes a lot of time. Remember, we're gonna move quick here, going back to number 2. Next one, investing in your company, if you're a business or agency owner. Others, if you have employees or other agents that work for you or with you, and yourself. You know, this is probably my favorite one. Call it business development and personal development. This is huge, and it's not that common in the insurance industry or financial services industry for the most part. It's always, let's sell a product. I'll hire a part-time assistant or a junior agent, give them a small portion, and that's how I'm gonna grow my practice, right? Because we're trained to do it that way. And a lot of agencies and brokerage firms are set up in this manner. Again, not a bad way. They've been extremely successful doing that. However, when you see superstars out there that are just crushing it, they're investing in this personal development to improve their own skill set. So the product knowledge, but then in communicating it, how to interact with others, how to invest in others. Now, when you hear that, what does that mean? Invest in them financially? Absolutely. If there's training programs that benefited you, do you want to invest in those same programs to benefit your employees? Yeah, definitely. Help them enhance their skill set as well. This is the best way to duplicate them, duplicate yourself, and actually make them better than you, because that's going to happen. Everyone has strengths and weaknesses. Help everyone enhance their strengths, and this way they can become a superstar in whatever area they're very good at. And yes, they're going to be much better than you as the owner. So humility is a quality or a trait that you must have when implementing this, because they're definitely going to get better than you, but they'll appreciate it. Think of it this way. If you're a new agent, you're trying to make it, and someone invests in you, right? They invest in an expensive program that has helped people really develop themselves and do extremely well in any industry. Are you going to be appreciative of that? Sure, maybe we don't realize it at the time. I've been there, but afterwards you see, okay, that's how much it cost. Okay, look at the results here. Other companies don't use this. Companies that do are doing 4 or 5 times the amount of revenue from certain programs, training, practice, all that good stuff. So investing in the company, others, people you work with, employees, programs, software. Our company, we actually, for all of our employees, invest in technology. Everyone has their own laptops. Sales agents have cell phones provided by the company. We want to do everything possible to put them in a position where they can be as efficient as much. We don't want to say, okay, well, all these things, you want them, well, you got to go, pay for it for yourself. There's nothing wrong with that at all. Some companies do that. They do very well with that. However, the mindset here is, okay, how does everyone hit at the most optimal level where the company can still have somewhat of a profit, but continue to move forward and invest in people? And they'll also stay with you this way as well, because frankly, they're not going to get that in many other places. And investing in yourself, personal development. This one I like a lot. Always day one. So I hear this a lot from Jeff Bezos, right? We all know who he is. He's done okay with his company. But always day one. Once you have experience in the insurance industry, does that mean, okay, I'm the reputable source, I'm number one, people come to me because I'm the big dog? No, you can't think like that. The instant that mindset starts to creep in, what happens is the young, hungry guy or girl, where the old agent used to be, they're going to catch up, right? So here, Jeff Bezos, always day one. How do we continue to innovate, go above and beyond for the consumer, for the client? We have to keep doing that, because if I have a client or a new potential client, they reach out to me, I get back to them quick and efficiently as possible, they're going to love working with me. If they reach out, I'm 4 or 5 days to get back to them. They question some of the strategies I put out there and say like, what do you mean? This is the best way to do it. I don't want to put the time, effort, energy into answering their questions thoroughly like I did when I was a young, hungry agent. You might know what I mean if you've been in the industry for a while. Point being is keep that mentality. Continue to go above and beyond. Provide the information, whether it's in phone calls, you're in the trenches, whether you're creating content to help people with that. That is so important. That's gonna, if you practice that every single day, you'll be fine. Especially once you get going and you've got a full pipeline, that becomes very challenging to do because you're like, oh my goodness, I've got too much activity. I cannot handle it. How am I gonna get all this stuff done? But do not lose that. Always day one. And then the last one, when you start to find a measure of success, this is going to happen, and ignore it. Ignore the haters, right? So people are going to come at you saying your strategies stink, don't work with Steve because blah, 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 don't work with Joe if your name's Joe, whatever it might be. That stuff is going to happen, and the tendency typically is, oh, they got me, let me get them back and prove them wrong. Maybe they attack a certain product or strategy and you've got to defend a point or part of your practice, okay? If it's necessary, you can do it, but avoid the hate back and forth. Avoid any personal attacks or implications of personal attacks. This will absorb all of your time and energy. You'll lose sleep over it. The best way to overcome this is really with the prior step. Take this mentality, always day one. Invest in yourself. People that invest in personal development, I found this to be somewhat consistent, typically do not attack people or do not hate on others. They continue to keep the mission moving forward, like these guys. You see them come out and say Amazon stinks? I mean, I'm sorry, do you see Amazon come out and say Walmart stinks? No. Does Apple or Samsung say, these guys stink, don't go with them, only go with me? No. They continue to focus on their product, enhance their business, enhance their consumer experience with their clients and such. They continue to move forward. So ignore these guys, the people that hate on you. That's going to happen. It's okay. It's actually a great sign. It means you're doing something right because now you're growing, and instead of improving and taking these steps, haters would much rather attack you and try and bring you down, whether it's deliberate or not. Usually it's not, it's just a reaction I found that a lot of times people have, but the best antidote is to ignore it, continue to move forward, focus on production. Always be a positive resource, positive influence. People will want to work with you that way. So a couple key tips to the insurance industry and business in general. If you're in another industry, I hope that you found this helpful as well. As always, feel free to reach out and we'll talk to you soon. Thank you. Hey guys, Steve Parisi here. If you enjoyed the content you just saw, please subscribe, like, and hit the notification bell for future videos. If you'd like more information or to see some custom policies for yourself, feel free to call or email our offices at the contact information below.